Heritage Rancher, drilled and tapped for a scope for those long range shots. The Heritage Barkeep for those close range shots. North American Arms, Mini Revolver, and 22 mag for, well, when you're just having a really bad day. Saddle up, cowboys. The Heritage Rough Rider Rancher, drilled and tapped for a scope. Just wanted to do a quick little close-up on the this little setup here before showing y'all the shooting footage. But briefly, let's just go and take a look at everything. So there is a height difference in these two rail sections that I have screwed into the frame and the barrel. I can't remember exactly what they're called. You can find them on Amazon. I'll notate what they are and I think the kind of gun that they're made for, but they have a curved bottom so they fit really nicely on the barrel, as well as right up here on the top of the frame. So the frame is a very soft metal. It's like a pot metal, Zamac or Zamek, something like that. But the barrel is a pretty hard steel. At least it took me a little while just to get a proper drill and tap into the steel barrel, but the frame was no big deal at all. So that was the easy part. But anyways, real quick too, in the shooting footage, there was quite a bit of wind, so I don't really feel like I got a very accurate accuracy test, or I guess you could say like a legitimate accuracy test at 150 yards. So there's probably going to be a part two. I'm just going to come back and revisit the long range shooting part of the video and do it on a less windy day. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and take a look at that shooting footage. That little Mini Revolver, it's a belt buckle gun. It's what I'm using as my backup right now. So my primary is going to be this Heritage Rancher that I've drilled and tapped for a scope. I just went headed through a scope that I didn't really care too much about onto this Rancher because this is really just more of a fun little project. There's nothing too practical about putting a scope onto your Rancher, but in case you wanted to, I wanted to test out the accuracy. So it's a little windy out here today, in case you can't already tell. So shooting some 22s is going to be a little difficult at longer ranges, but we'll see how this does. Right now I've got the 22 long rifle cylinder loaded up with some Remington Thunderbolt, and I've got it sighted in for 22 mag, which we'll get to for some longer ranges. But right now at 25 yards, we're just going to do some shooting with 22 long rifle. Boy, this wind is really blowing. It's howling. But at 25 yards, I don't think it's going to affect the accuracy too much. Not at all. Getting a decent group down there, just freehanding it, but this thing's really a lot of fun. You can still get your finger and your thumb in here pretty easily to cock it. So let me load up 6 more rounds and take some more shots. Alright, 6 more rounds of Thunderbolt loaded up. I'm gonna try and hit that little target. I think it's a 5-inch target down there. Doubled up on that shot. You know, even though I sighted in for the Remington, or not for the 22 mag, which I'm going to be shooting some Hornady VMAX. The long rifle, 22 long rifle, is shooting pretty good. Yep, I say that and then I miss. I miscounted. There we go. I got 6 more rounds of the Remington Thunderbolt loaded up. There's some neighbors over here doing some shooting as well, so I don't know if y'all could hear, but it's beautiful out here. It's like 55 degrees, a little windy, but the sun's out, so I think everybody's coming out and having a good time, just like I am. I don't know if I like going for the left finger. I kind of like just doing the right one, but it's force of habit for me. Whenever I shoot a revolver, I usually cock the hammer with my left thumb. But yeah, I think I'm going to try and do the right one. Again, force of habit. I'm shooting a little bit to the right with the long rifle, 22 long rifle. But let's go and push it back to 50 and load up some of that 22 mag and see how it's doing. Okay, so we're out at 50 yards. I brought the Barkeep out because the Barkeep has the 22 mag cylinder in it. So we'll get to the 22 mag here soon. Not out of the Barkeep, but I'm going to put the cylinder in the Rancher. But first I just want to do some more shots with the 22 long rifle at 50 yards. It's getting pretty warm out here actually, so I lost the jacket, but this is just a 3x9 scope. And then as far as resting this, I rested on this little dingus thing that hangs down because you don't want to rest a rifle on its barrel. That affects accuracy. So to give it the best possible chance of having good accuracy, I'm going to rest it right there on that little thing. That seems to do the trick. Yep, it's hitting. I'll go and tell you right off the bat that this is not an accurate rifle. I wasn't really trying to go for groups, but the shots are really opening up just at 50 yards. But that's with 22 long rifle. Hopefully when we move it back to 100 and I use some of the 22 mag Hornady VMAX, we'll be able to tighten those groups up. But right now, it's not looking good for long range. I'm going to go ahead and do 6 more rounds though of long rifle here at 50 yards. So let's go ahead and unload this real quick. It's a little windy. I saw a piece of grass fly right past me when I was just shooting those last 6 shots. All right. So definitely don't hold your hand out here because, like any revolver, you're gonna have gas escaping right here in between the barrel and the cylinder. So that's why I kind of keep my hand back here, or at the very furthest forward, I keep my non-dominant hand. I mean, right here on this little dingus thingy. But since I'm resting it, just gonna do like I do most long-range shooting, which is I have my non-dominant hand back here at the buttstock, kind of moving it up and down, making those micro adjustments. And the wind picks up. Yep. I mean, it's right in there. So, all right. It's good enough for the 22 long rifle. I don't think you're going to get much accuracy out at 100 yards with the 22 long rifle. We'll try it, but I'm going to go back to 100 and do some shooting with 22 Magnum. I don't know if y'all will be able to see this, but if you can't, I'll roll in the picture. But yeah, it's all hitting center mass. Those are all hits, or every shot was a hit. So it can definitely get on target at 50. But yeah, let's see at 100 yards how it does. It's a hawk in the background. Ooh. Hey Matt, if it's so warm, why'd you lose your jacket and not your hat? Because maybe I'm just having a bad hair day. All right, leave me alone. Gosh! But anyways, we're out here at 100 yards. And I just want to do some Remington Thunderbolt real quick. 6 rounds, no big deal. And then we'll move on to the 22 mag. I think I'm getting better stabilization with the resting it on the trigger guard. So forget what I said about the dingus. Nope. Yep. Yep. All right. It does pretty good at 100 yards with some cheap old Remington Thunderbolt. So that's cool. All right. Enough dilly-dallying. Let's step it up to a man's cartridge and put in the 22 mag cylinder. Man's cartridge, yeah, right. All right. All right, let's do the 22 mag cylinder here. Take it out of this barkeep. I had a few more rounds in there I was playing around with earlier. But here you go, some Hornady VMAX. This is a 30 grain bullet, so the wind might affect it quite a bit. But we will see. Let's stick it here in this cylinder. All right, she is ready to go. Actually, before I start, I'm just gonna put this barkeep away. All right, here we go. Hornady VMAX, 30 grain at 100 yards. Scope seems to be staying tight. This is obviously a job I did myself, so I'm just hoping that it stays nice and tight. But the frame metal is really soft. I think it's called Zamac. I might be saying that wrong, but it's basically like pot metal. So when I drilled and threaded it, it was really soft. I noticed way softer than the steel that the barrel is made out of. So hopefully this all holds together, and we'll see. But yeah, let's just take some shots and see where we're hitting. I sighted it in with some, I think it was just like the Armscore 22 mag, so we'll see how this VMAX does. I might need to resight this in. We hit. Oh, we hit. God. It's actually pretty, grouping pretty well. So, one thing I will say though is there's a lot of gas blowback with the 22 mag. I'm kind of getting pelted in the left side of my face. It's not too uncomfortable, but a little weird. Wow, this is grouping up real nicely. Right when I say that, I think I missed. Nice. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a 150-yard gun. Maybe even 200. Oop, wrong thing. So I'll show you guys the group real quick. I did miss one, but it's doing pretty good. Again, I'll roll this in if you guys can't see, but most of those shots, the ones all on the outside, were that 22 long rifle, but you can see a little group right there in the middle, slightly to the left, but grouping up pretty nicely with the Hornady VMAX 22 mag. So I feel pretty confident at 100 yards. Before I totally lose some sunlight, I'm gonna push it out to 150. Alright, it's shooting way to the right. Let's do 6 more rounds real quick, but I think 150 is probably going to be about it. Yeah, it's shooting pretty far to the right now. Not sure if the wind has something to do with it. It's probably not the best day to test out accuracy. Well, you know, we're going with what we got. I can really only come out here on the weekends because just like all of you regular Joes out there, I got a full-time job. So let's try this one more time at 150. But I think 150 is probably going to be the limitations of this rancher. There it is. Whoa. Yeah. It's shooting way to the right. Got it. Yeah, with that last shot. All right. I wanted to push it out to 200, but at the same time, I kind of feel like that'd be a bit of a waste of time. You know? Well, the wind is really howling in the trees over there. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but anyways, I think I'm going to probably call it quits right there. With the wind and with the fact that this thing is probably not that accurate to begin with. You know, I think 150 is probably the limit for this Heritage Rancher. It's fun. It's a lot of fun, and that's why I wanted to throw a scope on here. But I'm gonna go ahead and bring you guys back inside, throw this thing up on the tabletop so you can have a closer look, and I'll show you how I mounted it, what kind of rail sections I used, and all that kind of good stuff. So I'll see y'all inside. So at 150, I just wanted to show you all the shots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 hits at 150 yards out of, was it 12 shots? Or 18? One of the two. But anyways, at least I was getting some hits on target, but there's no consistency here, so that's why I stopped at 150. I'm thinking that if I could have at least had some decent grouping, I would have pushed it back a little bit further. But at this point, especially with this wind out here, I was aiming, I mean, the wind's definitely blowing to the right, and I was aiming pretty far to the left just to get these hits right here. And like I said, there's real no consistency or anything, so that's why I wanted to quit right there. Let's go ahead and take it back inside and show you guys a closer look at the gun. Okay, so welcome back. Let's just go ahead and get right into it. We'll start with this scope here. The scope is, I guess it's a Remington brand scope. It came with the Remington 597 that I have, hence the R right here. But for this project, the R stands for Rancher. And basically, I just had this scope lying around. Like I said, it came with the Remington 597. But as y'all can see, it was pretty windy that day. And like I said before, the wind had a lot to do with the inconsistent accuracy at 150 yards. So I'd definitely like to revisit this because I bet this Rancher could do 200 yards. Now, this probably isn't really too accurate of a rifle to begin with, but I think 200 wouldn't be an issue with certain variables like wind removed. In this video, I just wanted to, test proof of concept, I guess you can say, of whether or not you can mount the scope to this Rancher, and apparently you can. So these are the Weaver top mounts for a Mauser 98, and one of them is shorter, more shallow than the other right here. So and somehow it lines up perfectly on this Rancher. The height difference between the top of the frame and the top of the barrel is compensated by this one right here. So this I didn't really expect for them to work like that. I just wanted to give it a try, and sure enough, it worked. Oh, and the drill and tapping. It's very simple on this frame right here because I think, like I mentioned before, the frame is like a very soft pot metal, and then on the steel barrel, that was just one that I had to pay closer attention to. The frame I actually just kind of drilled straight through because you don't have to really worry too much about hitting anything, but I didn't want to drill straight through on the steel, so I used some calipers and just made sure that I didn't go too far down because I didn't want to mess up the rifling on the inside of the barrel. So that was just a little more difficult, and I guess to get a good bite with my what do you call this? A tapper, I guess. I had to cut off part of the tap, and then to make sure it was as flat as possible. So, anyways, this is just a simple little tap that I use. So it worked out. I was able to tap all four holes with very little issue. So it's not that big of a deal. I think pretty much anybody could do it if you just kind of know what you're doing. So, if putting a scope on your Rancher is something you'd like to do, then go for it. So accuracy-wise, this thing was decent. It's definitely not a precise rifle by any means, but you're looking at about 3 to 4 inch groups at 100 yards. I could have probably done better with a better trigger, and obviously, again, less wind, but the trigger is a little tough. I'm not going to pull it because I don't really want to dry fire this. Dry firing, let me see if I got another cylinder here. Yeah, so I think y'all might be able to see this, but there's dry firing puts little divots on the cylinder, and when you get these cylinders brand new from Heritage, they don't have those divots. So I don't want to dry fire this too much, so I'm not going to do it. But I measured it before. It's about a 5-pound trigger pull, something like that, but it feels heavier. It does have a nice clean break, but it feels heavier than 5 pounds for sure. So doing precise shooting with this rifle is a little more difficult than your typical precision rifle. And then to get the 3 to 4-inch groups, I was using the Hornady VMAX. So really good ammo. So I don't really think you can do much better. This stuff has a ballistic tip. It's a very precise round. And it's really good out to like 200 yards. But usually at 100 you can get like a, at least a 1 MOA, if not even better, with that ammo out of a better rifle. But I think, this is really just meant for having fun. It was kind of like a project gun. And as far as holding the rifle, I think that usually they want you to put your middle finger right here on this little dingus that I like to call that hangs down. But what I would do is I would have my trigger finger obviously on the trigger, and then I would wrap my left index finger around to the dingus and shoot it like this, so you get a really nice purchase. But yeah, I don't know, maybe to each their own. You might find a better way of shooting it, but that's kind of how I like to hold the rifle while I was shooting it. And just real quick, obviously this is the 22 long rifle cylinder, and that's the 22 mag cylinder right there. But I really do like this. I think this is the bronze. No, it's the copper. I always get mixed up between the two. So this is the copper cylinder, and I just think it matches up with like the wood stock, and it comes with the stainless steel hammer, which is kind of cool. So there's some color variations going on here, but aesthetically, I think this is a very aesthetically pleasing little project gun. So again, it is a project gun. It's not really practical by any means, but it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy shooting this. So if this is something you'd like to do, it wasn't too hard. Just I would go with these Weaver top mounts for a Mauser 98. There might be other mounts out there, but this one works perfectly. And, it wasn't really too hard to do, so go for it. I guess that's about it. So thanks for watching.